I'm going to show you how to create a digital notebook that is interactive for the students that you have in your Montessori classroom. As you begin, you're going to start from your Google screen. You're going to go up to the 9-dot waffle up on the right hand side and select that and scroll down until you see slides. All of the interactive digital notebooks that I do are done in slides. We'll select a blank presentation. And the very first thing that I like to do is to name my presentation. And so for the purposes of this video, we'll call it Math Interactive Notebook. And we're all set there. I also close out my themes on the right just by clicking the X button, and I like to select everything on my page by clicking and dragging across all of the elements, and when I let go it selects them all, and I will press delete to start with a blank page. When I'm working with interactive digital notebooks, I always like to use either an 8.5 by 11 page setup or an 17 by 11, which is like two 8.5 by 11s side by each. So I'm going to go up to File, because right now we're in a landscape format. I'm going to scroll down to Page Setup, and I'm going to put custom measurements in. And so we're going to go with 8.5 by 11, and we're going to apply. So now we've got our pages just as they would be working in 8.5 by 11 notebook that was physical. So we have our first page. The other thing that I do often is when I'm starting to work with a notebook from scratch, I always like to put in about 10 to 15 pages. So I'm going to go up to the new slide layout, and I'm going to scroll down to blank. Notice that up here has all the different preset layouts that you can use. We will be creating our own layout as well, so this is where it will appear. So I'm going to select blank, and it will do a new slide for me. Now there's a couple of ways that I can add more slides. I can just do, at this point, Control Y, and it will add another slide for me. Or I could copy this page and paste it by right-clicking and selecting copy, and then right-clicking and selecting paste. And then I'll put a new page in. Control Y or Command Y is my friend, so I like to do it that way. Control Y or Command Y will just repeat the last command that you executed. So if you were deleting something and did Control Y, it would delete the next item that you selected. So now we're ready to start and look for the cover for our notebook. So we're going to insert an image, and we'll search from the web. And we're going to do a keyword search for composition notebook cover. And I always like to add the keyword PNG for the file type. PNGs often come with transparent backgrounds, which is what I appreciate. We're going to select this one here. Now I can select it a couple of ways. I can just click on it and select insert down here, and it will put it into my piece, or I can insert the same image by clicking it and dragging it over. I tend to click and drag more than going the extra step of inserting. Now I want my image to be lined up perfectly with the left-hand side of my page, and the red line that appears on the left tells me that it's perfectly aligned at the edge, and when I let go it will move it over. I always like them to be aligned at the top as well, and then I'll open it up by selecting the bottom right corner to make it about as big as my page. Now, there's our cover. I would like this notebook to have tabs for it, however, but not all notebooks have to. So I'm going to take now the middle square when my item is selected, And I'm going to push it, hold it and push it back a little bit to make room for my tabs. And so it makes room for the tabs that I'll put on the side. My students always like to put a title for the concept that we're working on, so we'll just name this notebook Math. So we will insert a text box and we will call it Math. And when I'm working in text box, I like to format everything before I add the text. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to choose my font. I'll just use this one here. And I will choose the size for the title. It can be pretty big. And I would like it to be centered. And maybe I'll choose a nice bright color for my font. I'll go like bright orange maybe. And I'll type in the word math. Now it's bigger than my text box, so I'm going to make my text box just a little bit bigger so it fits. I'm going to align it with the center of the book and make sure that the letters are on the line. There we go. I'm also going to center it in the middle of my text box. I forgot that step. There we are. I'm not sure I'm happy with that color, so I think I'll go back and I'll just change it to black. Now when I want to affect everything within a text box, I have to make sure that it is selected so that my cursor is not blinking on the inside. So I'm going to change it now to the font to be black. Wonderful. All set. I'm ready to put my tabs in. And I'm going to do tabs by inserting a shape. So I'm going to go to my shape tool and I'm going to choose a rectangle with rounded corners, and I will this way. There we go. And I'm going to do the formatting piece again. I'm going to go and choose my font, and I think about 24 will do. And I want it to be centered in the middle of the tab. So when I'm ready to type, I'm going to actually copy my text box first, and then I'm going to paste it because I'd like 4 tabs. I'd like one for addition, one for multiplication, one for subtraction, and one for division. So I'm going to copy and paste 3 more times. So I'm going to edit, copy, or Control or Command C, and then I'm going to paste it 1, 2, 3. So now I can actually do all of this at once by selecting all of the shapes. When I'm doing something like this, I try to work off the workbook as much as possible just to make sure I see all elements. So I'm going to select them all, and I'm going to rotate them using the little ball at the top so that they're facing this way, right? And then they will be here. So I'm just going to make sure that they're aligned well and they will all fit on my page. It looks like they will. And so I'm going to select them all, and I'm going to arrange them and align them on the left. And I'm also going to distribute them evenly. So I'm going to go arrange and distribute vertically. And so that puts an even space in between all of them. So they're now ready for me to add some text. So I'm going to double click within the first one, and this one will be addition. This middle one will be multiplication. And that text is too big, so I'm going to go and make it smaller until it fits. Okay, so 18 for this particular font. And so then I want all of my other fonts, all of my other tabs to then be the same size in the font. So I'm going to go 18. All right. So now addition, multiplication, subtraction, and division. Okay, how did I spell that wrong? Subtraction. Here we go. Now it's time for me to color code my tabs. So I'm going to go red for addition. So select my tab. I'm going to go to my paint filler and make that red. My multiplication tab will be yellow. My subtraction will be green. And my division will be blue. Okay, our tabs are ready. So I'm going to select them all by creating a rectangle and dragging it across them. And I'm going to move them to the edge of the book so that they are tabs. And there we go. The other thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to group them. I'm going to select them all. I'm going to go Arrange and Group, or I could use my shortcuts, which is Command, Option, and G. And on a Mac, it would be Control, Option, and G. So now when I group them, I can move them all as one unit. When I click on it and move it, they will all move together. So with tabs, I like to put them just a little bit over my image, and then I like to push them to the back so that it looks like they're actually part of the book. And so there's our cover. Now, we want this to be steady and stationary on the page. We don't want the students to be able to move anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select everything and I'm going to copy it all. So edit and copy. And then I'm going to go to my view. I'm going to create a master slide so that everything on this page is not editable by students. So I'm going to go to View and Master. And I always go down to the third slide from the top. So I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to edit that by taking everything off. Start with a clean slate, and now on my clipboard, on my computer, I have my notebook and the tabs and the title. So now I'm going to just go to Edit and paste it, and it is there. So now, when I am in my natural slides on the left-hand side, although it's not there yet, it will be. If the students click on any element of this page, it will not move. So I'm going to exit out of this. And there it is on page 9, actually. Oh no, that's the one I was creating, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to delete all of this. And don't panic when you see it all disappear. It's fine, it will still be there. I'm going to go up to my first slide, and I'm going to go and insert a new layout. And there's the stationary slide that we just created. So now, when students click anywhere on this page, they cannot move anything. The only thing that we can do, I'm going to move that up to the front, I'm going to go back to my view, and I'm going to actually insert a text box for them to type their name in. So I'm going to go to Insert a Text Box to the little drop-down menu, and I'm going to select Body Text Placeholder, and I'm going to create that here, which will allow them to type in it. So I will do my font for this, and I'm going to ask them size 18, good. So now they will be able to put their name in it. So if we exit out of here, go back to the front, you'll see that same text box here where they can click and put their name. So they can enter that there. Okay. And now we're ready to begin creating those tabs. So when I'm doing math interactive notebooks, I always like to have a section header. So I'm going to do a section header for addition. I'll make the background red to match the color of the tab. And I will add a text box and make the text quite large so that they know that this page is reserved for addition work, or any pages that follow this title page will be addition work. So I will do addition, and I will center it on my page and within my box. And that's ready to go. What I'm going to do so that the formatting of my other pages is exactly the same, so I'm going to select that, and I'm going to then leave a page for work here. I'm going to go down to the next page, make the background yellow for multiplication. I did that color there. And I'm going to paste the addition, and I will change it to multiplication. I will go down, leave one page for work, down to page 6, change my background to green for subtraction. I think I chose that green there. Paste my title page. Okay. Skip a page, page for division, background, blue. I think I chose this one here. And division. Okay, and I'm ready to go. So now on our cover page, it's always really neat as we add pages to our digital notebook, rather than having to scroll through every page to get to the page that we want. It's always really neat to include links within your slide. So to do that, I'm going to insert a shape, and I'm doing the same shape that I did my tab out of, because I'm going to lay that shape on top of my tab. And so that's going to become invisible so that the children can't actually see that box. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to paint that box as it's selected, make it transparent, and I'm going to make the line around it transparent. So when you're looking at your tab, you don't actually see the box there. But we are going to link it to the pages within our slideshow. And I'll show you how that's done. We're going to select that. We need a link for every tab though, so I'm going to copy and paste that tab. And to save myself some time, I'm going to copy these two since they're already directly on top of my other tabs and spaced out, and I'm going to move them down here. So now on top of each tab, I have an invisible box that I'm going to link to another slide within this presentation. So for addition, I want that to link over here to slide 2. So I'm going to insert a link, and I'm going to link it to a slide within this presentation, and that is slide 2. Now multiplication will then start on page 4, so I'm going to select that tab. I'm going to insert the link to slide number 4. And subtraction starts on page 6, so I'm going to link that tab by inserting a link. You can also do Command K and to a slide number 6. Okay, and now division will start on page 8, so I'm going to select that tab or the invisible box that I put over it, and I'm going to insert a link to slide number 8. And so now when I open my interactive notebook, if I just want to work on subtraction that day, I will click on that link within here, and then I can select slide 6, and it will directly take me to subtraction work. And any subsequent pages after this header will be subtraction work. So It also works in presentation mode, so if you're presenting this, you can push the present button and it will, oops, have your cover of your notebook there. If you want to do some multiplication work, you can click on that and it will take you to the multiplication cover page. Okay, and that is how you create your digital notebooks. If you are interested in learning about how to create materials that can go into this notebook that are Montessori based, please feel free to contact Legacy Montessori Teacher Training and Development at legacymontessorittd@gmail.com, and we're happy to work with your school to build workshops around the needs that will help to facilitate your students' learning. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and please stay in touch to let us know what kind of workshops you'd like.